May 10th, 1981. Does that date ring a bell? That's the day that you got traded to the Toronto Blue Jays. You can be honest. What was your reaction when you found out that was going to happen?
I was kind of disappointed.
Yeah.
I had been here before, obviously,
Yep.
having played with the Royals, and we came here in '77, the inaugural season. But when I arrived at Pearson, it was a damp, dark, rainy night, and I thought, oh my God, what have I gotten myself into? And I thought I would be here for a year. I honestly did. I thought I'd play for the Blue Jays for 1 year, and then I'd be finished and move on.
Of course, it went on much longer than that. You became a beloved member of this team, of the Blue Jays community. I want to fast forward to a piece of video that I know Jays fans know really well, and you know really well. Runner barreling into you at home plate, breaks your leg.
And it's going to be in time. The collision. Bradley bowls Martinez over.
Somehow you have the presence of mind to throw the ball to third, and eventually the runner's out.
And it is in time to get Gorman. Holy smoke. Buck Martinez bowled over.
What's interesting, I mean, it shows what a gamer you were, obviously, but it also shows how much baseball has changed. Like, you can't do that to a catcher these days, or at least you shouldn't. And I just wonder more generally, as you reflect on baseball then and now, what are your thoughts?
Baseball has changed a lot, obviously. And I was fortunate to come into baseball in 1969 with the expansion Kansas City Royals. I was 20 years old. I was as green as any artificial turf you've ever seen, but baseball's changed dramatically, obviously. At that time, pitchers hit. DH didn't come in until '73. Minimum salary, which I made for about 4 years, was $10,000 a year. And when I tell players that these days, they say, a week? And I go, no, a year. And it was different.
Whether he hits or not. One out pitch is hit deep into left field. It's going. It's out of here. Martinez and the Blue Jays win the ball game. How about those Blue Jays? As Buck Martinez.
I was watching a preseason game in Arizona this year, and there was a clock on the field, and it just was jarring for me. Of course, that is part of the game now. It's part of the changes to try to make baseball quicker and more appealing maybe to modern day fans. How do you feel about that?
I think modern day fans is the key because our attention span is very short, and children don't want to sit through 3 hours of baseball, or they don't want to sit through 15 minutes of anything, basically. But I think what happens is we got to wait. That's the way we used to play. Pitchers would get on the mound and say, hey, get in the box, you're the next out, let's go. Pitchers would dictate the tempo of the game. Baseball had to incorporate the clock to bring that into the game, and this is much closer to the baseball that I played in the 60s, 70s, and 80s.
Oh, really?
Yes, very close to it. It's the same tempo. We used to play games under 2 hours.
Wow.
And the pitchers would get on the mound, the players would play, they would hit. We didn't have walk-up music. We didn't have brands. We didn't have any of that. We played baseball, and we wanted to play a good, clean, quick game, and the fans enjoyed that.
High fly ball. Get up, ball. Get up, ball. This one's going to go. Home run, Randall Griffin.
I love watching you do a game because I learned so much. You can tell me what the next pitch is going to be. You can explain why that is. And so there's just, I could have picked anything, but there's a piece of video with Jose Barrios on the mound. And there you are kind of predicting what the next pitch will be, which is fantastic. But the other thing is, he ends up making a pitch that you didn't like.
Come back with another fastball. Don't go back to the breaking ball. Breaking ball, line fair, past a diving Chapman and down the line.
You just felt it was too predictable, and you said that on the air, gently, like you weren't mean about it.
Too predictable.
And I just wonder, what is that like to be, like, you work for a broadcaster that's owned by the same team as, same company as the team. You see these players all the time. How do you figure out how hard to push or how far to push?
It took me a while. When I first stepped off the field, and I had a unique opportunity because I stopped playing in '86 and I was broadcasting on television in '87.
When Martinez signed with TSN and gave up baseball for broadcasting, he closed the book on a pro baseball career that started 22 seasons ago in the minor leagues.
So I went right from being a player to being a broadcaster. And I had some moments where I thought, wow, I don't like this. This is not good. And I felt uncomfortable. I didn't want to criticize my teammates. Those were guys I just finished playing with. But I had a chance to work with a producer that was the producer-director for This Week in Baseball for 40 years, Harry Coyle. And Harry Coyle told me, you have credibility because you played so long. And as long as you're not questioning their integrity or talking about their morality or something like that, baseball is fair game for you because you've done it. And that really helped me a lot. My job is to relate the game to the audience. That's what my job is.
I saw a little excerpt from John Gibbons' podcast where he said when he was the manager of the Jays, he used you as a sounding board sometimes because he respected your baseball knowledge so much. That's kind of cool. Does that still happen where manager sort of says to you, hey, like, how do you think things are looking out there?
Yes, it does still happen. And I'm proud of that.
Yeah.
They know that they can trust me. They know that I'm not going to jeopardize any of their relationships with players. And they can give me some background that's going to help me as a broadcaster. But they also ask me my opinion about, you know, I've been in the game over 50 years.
So a year and a half ago, we learned that you had cancer. I think you know this, right across the country, people were really moved by that. In Vancouver, I was getting, you know, I have no connection to you, obviously, directly, but people were sending me text messages saying, have you heard the news? Like, a lot of us were saddened by that. How was it for you, those months of being away and treatment?
Nobody wants to hear those words, obviously. And as an athlete, you know, we all think we're 10 foot tall and bulletproof. And when you hear that, it kind of takes you back. But I have a phenomenal wife. We've been married for 48 years.
Wow.
And as soon as we heard that, she said, we got this. And the response I got from the people in Canada and in North America in general was incredible. And it helped get me through the treatment. It helped me understand that maybe I can help somebody else get through this treatment.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew we would get through it. And I knew that in the end I would be able to come back. The doctor told me, he said, you'll probably miss the rest of the season with this treatment. It'll probably take you that long to get back. I said, no, I won't. I won't miss the rest of the season. July
26th, 2022, you came back here.
Back in the broadcast booth, Buck Martinez.
And I'm sure for the people who were in the seats, certainly for those of us who have watched the video, it was a very moving time. What was it like for you?
It was incredible. When the day comes that I retire, I won't need a send-off. I've already had that. It was wonderful. And my son Casey and his family, Jennifer and the 3 girls were here to share that moment with me. It was incredible. And I didn't know they were going to stop the game. I didn't know anything about that. But when the players came out on the field, that was pretty special. It makes you understand that you might be doing things right. And it just goes back to the first day I came to Canada when I thought, I'll be here for a year. And here we are many, many years later, and the country has embraced me. They have allowed me to bring the baseball game into their homes. And when I came back, that was like, okay, I guess we did it right.
Well, as I say, for me, you know, I don't know a lot about baseball, but I learned so much about the game watching and listening to you, and a lot of us really do appreciate that. And I just wonder for you at this stage in your career, first of all, you mentioned the R word, retirement. Like, do you have any sense of when that might happen?
When I got back, I thought I did. And now that I've done games, I don't have any idea about that. I
That's a
enjoy
good
it
thing.
so much.
Yeah.
It's such a great privilege to be involved in the game and be around the best athletes in the world and watch what they do every day. And it's a special opportunity. And you know what? My goal is to bring something to the audience every night that they didn't know. It might not happen tonight, might not happen tomorrow, but someday it's going to happen, and I'll have the background story to tell you, and you'll go, wow, that's pretty cool.
You know what? Mission accomplished.
Thank you.
Really nice talking to you. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.